It was early November, that liminal time before winter fully sets in. The leaves were mostly gone, the air was cold but not freezing, and the sun dipped behind rooftops. By 4:30 p.m., I was walking home from evening class at the community college, my backpack heavy with textbooks and notebooks. I remember the small kernel of satisfaction I said the calculus midterm the day before. I decided to take the shortcut. It saved me 15 minutes, less time outside, less time waiting for the bus in the early dusk. The path cut through an empty park behind the church, a path I'd used 100 times before. It wasn't exactly well lit, but it was familiar. That day, the streetlights were flickering as I entered the park. They hadn't turned on yet. The last rays of sun were scattered silver on the wet leaves, and the lamps had already woken up to life. I glanced at my phone, 5:05 p.m., still early enough. I shifted the straps on my shoulder and kept walking. The path crossed a small creek via a wooden footbridge. I paused halfway, staring at the water. It was black and reflective, roiling with fallen leaves. A chill skated up my spine, something didn't feel right, but I chalked it up to too much calculus studying and hurried across. Then I heard the snap, wood underfoot, a branch. My breathing caught. I shook my head. People walk dogs there at night, right? Maintenance workers. Or just an animal, probably a stray cat. I forced my shoulders down and kept moving. A few minutes later, I reached the spot where the lamp post was broken, the one that was supposed to illuminate the second half of the shortcut. It was off, so I paused again. The trees beyond it embraced the darkness. I flipped on my flashlight app. One steady beam down the path. That's when I saw it. A figure, standing just at the edge of the light's reach. At the far end of the path, right where the forest shadow swallowed everything, it looked like a person, wide-shouldered, narrow hips, standing still. Facing me, I froze. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. Cold wind rattled loose leaves. The flashlight dipped in my hand as I shivered. Then as I blinked, just blinked, the figure was gone. Every rational part of my brain screamed, they moved. But when I swung the light back, there was nothing. Only empty path, wet leaves, tree roots. I swallowed. Shit. Probably a jogger or someone walking earlier. Maybe they turned and went down a side trail. I told myself that, but I started walking faster. The path turned at an old bench and curved toward the street. A few more broken lamps, then I'd hit the sidewalk. My phone buzzed. Text from my roommate asking if I'd be home in 20. I typed a quick reply, on my way. Taking shortcut. My lantern beam landed on the next lamppost. But it wasn't just a lamppost. It was someone leaning against it. A woman, tall, thin, long dark hair. Head tilted down, staring at her phone. She wore a coat, but it didn't look warm. More like a dress coat. Black boots. Her hair was dripping. Dripping wet like she just walked out of a shower or a creek. My heart pounded so hard it echoed in my ear. My vision tunneled. I cleared my throat. Hey, sorry, didn't expect to see anyone here. My voice sounded small, like a boy speaking into his parents' living room. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there. I stepped forward, flashlight held tight. Are you okay? Footsteps crunched in the leaves behind me. Both of us froze. Lightning struck overhead somewhere distant. It lit the sky briefly. Thunder rolled. I turned back and saw the path behind me. Nothing there. No light. No trail. Only deeper forest. And when I turned back to her, she wasn't there. No lamppost. No dripping hair. No woman. Just tree bark and wet ground. My breath came in short bursts, misting in front of me. I held the phone flashlight above my head and ran. I burst onto the adjacent street, sidewalk and street lamps, cars, distant traffic sounds. My palms and knees trembled. I looked back at the path. Still dark. Still silent. Tried calling my roommate, voicemail. Ran to the busier stretch. The faint glow of town. When I got in, I nearly slammed the door. I tried to laugh it off to my roommate, Kayla, who was watching Netflix in the living room. Shortcut was spooky. Probably just someone dripping from rain or something. She didn't laugh. She went quiet, put her drink down. Then she said, shortcuts can be dangerous. I tried changing the topic. We watched TV. I didn't sleep well. The next day, I decided to avoid the shortcut. I drove to class instead. Came back by bus. I never said anything to anyone else. But the image bugged me. That woman, standing silent, dripping. At first, I thought she was a ghost. or someone who drowned in the creek. Maybe a woman who got lost and froze out there. My roommate said I was being superstitious, but every time I walked by that park path on the bus, I found myself holding my breath. 2 weeks later, I was sitting at my desk in class, daydreaming of cornfields in Iowa. When my phone slid out of my binder, it buzzed with an unknown voice message. I pressed play, a wet inhale. Click, silence. Click, another breath. Not my roommate's laugh, not a full voice, just a long, low inhale. My stomach churned. Quiz started. My score came back solid, but I couldn't concentrate. I turned off the phone and stuffed it in my bag. When class ended, I waited until everyone left and slipped out. That night, I told Kayla about the voice message. She frowned. You know, there was a woman who went missing. Last October. She was out jogging in that park, got lost, and they found her in the creek in February. No ID, no phone. She hesitated. Your story, the dripping hair by the lamppost. It matches. They think she was alive when she fell in. The pit grew in my chest. How did you know? She shrugged. Neighborhood rumor. People say at night you can see her, but I didn't tell you because I thought I was weird. But hearing that, she mimed the breath. A dread settled in my bones. That night I couldn't sleep. I stayed up until 2 a.m., headphones on, watching an old news piece on the jogger. No name, just footage of a search party with police lines. A girl's running shoes by the bank, a purse tangled in reeds. Her face was darkened. Then there was a small video clip, night vision, lights dim, someone stepping through the trees, and a figure leaning by the lamp. Same angle I'd seen her. Shaking head, hair wet, backing away. The caption said, Park Late Night Jogger. DN 18-2023. My soul left my body. 2 nights later, I found the lampost's glow visible from my bedroom window. At 2:17 a.m., I flicked it off in my memory. It wasn't real. Except it was pinned in my memory. I dreamed of dripping hair. That inhale, a phone recording itself. Then I woke up. My backpack lay by the door, wet. I stared at it. I didn't go back to the shortcut. I drive around it, walk extra blocks. I take the long way to the bus stop, because I learned shortcuts aren't just about distance. Sometimes they cut through stories, and some stories want you to stay lost. I'd always loved yearbooks. High school was overrun with chaos, friend groups drifting apart, awkward hallways and spilled locker combinations. But yearbook season? That was comforting. Sitting for portraits, signing pages, scribbled inside jokes from friends, it felt like capturing pieces of a life I'd actually lived. I graduated from Willow Creek, high in June. I was 18 and thinking about college. Coffee shops, the tight parameter of adulthood, until I found that photo. It was early July, a slow Saturday morning. I was back in my hometown for a few weeks before heading off to the University of Wisconsin. I decided to catch up with my mom, help her sort some boxes in the garage. Among baby clothes and expired paint cans, I found my old box of yearbooks. Out of curiosity, I pulled out the 2024 Willow Creek edition. Inside the cover, I flipped past dozens of smiling faces and signatures. Then I saw it, a photo on the class trip Athens, Georgia page, under a subtitle that read, Best Laughs, Best Friends. A candid shot of me, but not the me I remembered. The photo was grainy, caught mid-blink maybe. But what threw me off was what I was doing. I wasn't smiling. My pose was stiff, awkward. I was reaching back like I was dropping something. My hair was wet, like I'd just stepped off a bus in the rain. And next to me was someone who wasn't there when I actually took that trip. A girl, maybe 16, pale with straight dark hair parted in the center. Her clothes looked out of place, old-fashioned, a floral dress from another decade. She was staring directly at the camera with black, unblinking eyes. And here's the kicker. Her hand was resting on my shoulder, my hairline. And yet, I have zero memory of ever seeing her. She wasn't in my group text, no one mentioned her name. I would have remembered something like that. I passed the page to my mom. That picture, new? She frowned. I don't remember that. Who is she? I checked the back of the photo. A thin white border, no credit, no note. Just our faces, grainy, artificial flash look, as if taken late at night in a hotel lobby. I scanned my name and hers. Hers was blank. I stole a photo of the page with my phone and Googled. Weird photo identification sites. No matches, no name. That night, at my best friend Mia's house, I studied the shot under fluorescent kitchen lights. The girl's stare felt like something latching on. My palm itched where her hand rested. I asked Mia, "Ever seen this?" "I don't remember it at all." She nodded slowly. "It's creepy." And the girl's eyes. Why stare at the camera like that? When we looked closer, we saw more. In the background, blurry silhouettes of classmates, but none I recognized. The Athens trip had a big group photo at the aquarium. A shot in front of a steamroller. Not this. A hotel lobby? I remember none of that. We searched through a friend's Instagram from that trip. No identical picture. The color palette matched. Dark hallways, yellow light, reflective tile. But the shot was nowhere to be found. On my school's Google Photos? Not there. As a joke, Mia tried doing a reverse image search. Nothing. A few days later, I got an email from the yearbook advisor, Ms. Clarkson. "Sophia, can we confirm your Athens photo? We've had inquiries about one from that trip and want to credit the students properly." I replied quickly, "I don't remember it. I need a copy." They sent a high-res scan. I stared so close the grain looked like porcelain, freckles, droplets on my hair. Nothing matched memory. As soon as I acknowledged the photo, something changed. That night, July 17th, 1:03 a.m., I woke up to a cold room. I thought I smelled damp wood. I jolted upright. My yearbook was open on the desk, the Athens trip page face up. I didn't move it there. The photo looked bigger. My breath caught. I got up. The floorboards were silent. My door closed, but the room light was off. I fumbled with the lamp switch, clicked on. I took a picture on my phone. The photo of the photo. Grain and glare, same shot. When I checked the image, the girl's eyes blazed black. When the lamp flicked off again, I didn't move. I closed my eyes. The next morning, I didn't tell anyone. I checked my reflection in the hallway mirror at home. My hair was damp at the roots, like I'd just walked through fog. I didn't shower. I'd even slept in my hair tied back. Mia suggested I bring the yearbook around, do a road trip. I worried about lying to my mom and buying gas, but agreed. We met next day. In the back seat, Mia shuffled through the photo. "It's like your face is frozen, but it's the girl behind. You who's painted still." We got back and Mia played with a mirror trick. She held up the yearbook in front of a mirror and snapped photos. In reverse print, the girl's dress looked frayed. In some shots, her eyes, it moved. It broke something in my throat. That night, I couldn't sleep for the fear of waking up what was staring back. I sat in my locker at orientation, scanning old photos from a USB yearbook backup. I found a hidden folder for Athens 2024. Inside, dozens of hotel shots, all unknown to me. Every picture featured me with friends, yet all the faces were matted out in blur. Except hers. Only hers and mine stayed crisp. One after another, me laughing, me eating pizza, me waving at camera, always with her at shoulder height. But I never remember being there. My yearbook memory excluded them. I ran to the school yearbook office. Ms. Clarkson was shocked. "We have a new student. Junior transfer, middle of the year last August." She dropped off the face of the earth. Didn't sign books. I felt her eyes on the old bulletin board. Exam day. Prom sports, her face was never on it. I asked for her name. Mara Ellis, no forwarding address. Parents unknown. Chill rushed through me. Ms. Clarkson pulled a printed roster. "No, Mara Ellis." She pulled an empty sheet and said, "Maybe. Maybe error. Phone calls at 3:14 a.m. That night I got a call at 3:14 a.m. from yearbook. I answered, a voice that sounded like static, whispering, "I filled your yearbook." And it clicked. The page had handwriting scrawled near the girl's foot. "Now you remember." Sleep didn't come that night. I decided to return the yearbook. Drop it off at my old school. Just walk in and say I misplaced this, and hope they'd shred it or file it away. I parked in the lot around midnight. The building was dark, lights off. I slipped in through the front door, open. Locked. I got up to the yearbook office. I placed the book on Ms. Clarkson's desk. Then I saw something in the reflection of her darkened window behind the desk. A face, her face, smiling black, staring back. I whipped around, nobody there. A head swimming cold gripped me. I ran. Today I'm months away from college. I asked my mom to send my things. No surprises. except I'm keeping one photo. My brand new student ID photo. The ID is plastic, they laminated it. But in the window behind glass, if I stare long enough, hair flickers on my left side. A shape. A dark smudge rests by my shoulder. I have to look away. So tonight, when I go to sleep, I left my ID face down. Like I'm disappointing someone. They say yearbooks preserve our happiest memories. But what if they preserve something else? What if I never saw the girl taking the picture? Because she doesn't want me to remember? And what if, once she's in the frame, there's nowhere you can walk where she isn't behind you? I used to think that the scariest thing about high school was finals week. That changed the night the intercom turned on by itself. Long after everyone had gone home. It started small. A weird flicker in the hallway lights, a faint humming in the ceiling speakers. But by the time I realized it wasn't just bad wiring, I was already in too deep. Let me back up. My name's Caleb, and I go to a high school in rural Pennsylvania. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. And the biggest excitement we've had in years was when someone let a goat loose in the cafeteria. That's probably why I was the only one who noticed when things started to get off. I worked part-time for the school's AV club, mostly just setting up morning announcements, managing audio for assemblies and fixing old equipment. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave me access to the school after hours. That's important. That's where all this begins. It was a Thursday night in October, cold, clear, and quiet. I stayed late to prep audio files for the Friday announcements. I was alone, except maybe for the janitor, Mr. Wendell, who barely spoke and always kept to himself. Around 7:30 p.m., I wrapped up, saved the files to the system, and shut everything down. I passed by the front office, which was dark, and out the corner of my eye, I saw something odd, the red, on-air light above the intercom. Switch was glowing dimly. I froze. That light only turns on when the system is broadcasting, but the control panel was off. I stood there watching, heart thudding. The light flickered once and went dark. Weird, I thought. Must be a surge. I left it alone and went home. The first night, that night I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I was scrolling on my phone when I got a text from Sam, one of my AV club friends. Bro, why is the school playing the morning announcements right now? I sat up straight. What do you mean? I replied. I'm parked across the street. Just saw lights come on in the admin office. Heard your voice. The announcements from this morning. I didn't reply. I didn't know how to. He sent a video. It was shaky, filmed from the parking lot. You could barely see the building, but you could clearly hear my voice over the loudspeakers, echoing through the empty school. Good morning, River Valley High. Today's lunch is chicken patties with mashed potatoes. I stared at the video, skin crawling. The intercom wasn't internet-controlled. There was no remote trigger. It only played if someone was physically in the building. Unless something had gone wrong. I barely slept, Friday. The next day, I got to school early and checked the system. Everything was normal. The audio logs showed nothing for midnight. It was as if the playback had never happened. When I asked the janitor, Mr. Wendell, if he'd been there, he just shook his head. No one's here after 9, kid. Except maybe the dead rats in the ceiling. I laughed awkwardly. He didn't. The second night, I told myself it was a one-time thing. I even deleted Sam's video, thinking maybe it was a prank. But then it happened again. Same time, midnight. Only this time, the announcements weren't from that day. They were from last year. And not just any day, March 4th, 2023. That was the day Evelyn Hart went missing. She was a senior. Drama club, honor roll, beautiful in a classic soft-spoken way. One afternoon, she stayed late for rehearsal and never went home. No one found her bag, her phone, or her body. Rumors flew, of course. Kidnapping, suicide, maybe even a teacher scandal. But nothing was proven. That night, the loudspeakers played a file no one had heard since the day she vanished. Her voice, calm, gentle, opened the announcements like she used to before I took over. Good morning, River Valley. Today is March 4th. Seniors, don't forget to turn in your scholarship packets. I listened, frozen, from across the street with Sam. He was pale, shaking. No way, he whispered. That's her. The school was dark, not a single light on. But her voice rang out, clear and haunting. Drama club meets in the auditorium after school. We'll be running Act 2. Then silence. Then the sound of footsteps echoing over the speakers. Slow, heavy, uneven. Thump, drag, like someone walking barefoot, with one broken leg. I wanted to run. Sam already had. Saturday. I went back during the day. I had to see for myself. I logged into the system again. No file existed for March 4th. It had been wiped after her disappearance. Yet somehow it had played. I searched the audio drive manually, and I found something new. A file labeled 34 Red Room. It was hidden deep, buried under random folders with names like Temp, Update, and Old Archive. I played it. There was no music, no intro, just Evelyn's voice, but not the cheerful version. This time she sounded wrong, slowed down, off-key. If you hear this, don't come looking, he's still here. Then silence. Then the sound of a click, like a switchblade. Then a scream. And then a voice I didn't recognize, deep, raspy. She never left the stage. I slammed the laptop shut. The Red Room. I had never heard the term Red Room before. I thought it was just an internet myth, some deep web snuff film thing. But then I checked the school blueprints, and I found something odd. A small unlisted maintenance room behind the stage, no label, no door on the outside, just a 6'8" concrete space. I went that night, flashlight in hand, cutting through the gym and toward the auditorium. The stage creaked under my feet. Dust swirled in my beam. Behind the back curtain, hidden behind a wall panel, I found it. Small door, metal, rusted. No handle. But it was open, slightly. I pushed. Inside was darkness and the overwhelming smell of rot. I stepped in. There were no lights. Just the red glow of a standby speaker light in the corner. On the floor, I saw something I'll never forget. A recording mic, an old-school tape deck, a dried trail of what looked like blood leading to the wall, and etched into the concrete. Silence is safety. Announcements keep him away. My flashlight flickered. The speaker crackled. Then I heard my own voice. Good morning, River Valley. Cut, distorted. Don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. Don't turn it off. I ran. The final broadcast. That Sunday night, I got a final text from a number I didn't recognize. It said, play my voice, or he'll come for you next. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I threw my phone across the room. At midnight, the intercom clicked on one last time. I sat in my room, hands over my ears, but I could still hear it. Caleb, help me. He walks when it's quiet. Make it stop. The power in my house went out. My phone lit up again. It was a new audio file. Just breathing, and footsteps, and something whispering. You heard her. Keep talking, or let him in. Epilogue. The school burned down a week later. They called it an electrical fire, blamed old wiring in the intercom system. No one asked why there were chains bolted inside the walls of the auditorium. No one found the room behind the stage. But sometimes, just sometimes, on cold, quiet nights, if you drive past the empty lot where River Valley High used to be, you'll hear a voice echo through the trees. Good morning, River Valley. Even when it's not morning, even when the school is gone, even when no one is listening, except him. We hear the same thing every day at school. Good morning, Westridge High. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Then the lunch menu, sports updates, club meetings. It's a background noise we all tune out. Something routine, predictable. That's why I noticed when it changed. Because on a cold Thursday morning in November, the announcement started like this. We regret to inform you that senior student Jacob Wills passed away last night. A moment of silence will be observed after homeroom. My blood ran cold. Not because I didn't know Jacob, but because I did. He sat next to me in chemistry. Something was missing. I turned to my best friend Nate, who shared the same homeroom. He looked confused but not upset. Did you hear that? I asked. Jacob Wills, he died. Nate raised an eyebrow. Who? Jacob, tall, brown hair. Always wears that denim jacket with the holes in the sleeves. We were partners in chem yesterday. Nate shook his head slowly. I think you're confusing him with someone else. No, I'm not. He asked to borrow my notes. He has a scar above his left eyebrow. You seriously don't remember him. Nate looked concerned now, but not for Jacob, for me. There's no Jacob Wills at this school, he said. I checked. I thought maybe it was some kind of prank. Maybe someone hacked the intercom system, or it was a test to see if people were paying attention. So I checked the yearbook, not the online one. I went straight to the library and pulled the physical copy from the shelf. Senior section, page 84. And there he was. Jacob Wills. Denim jacket, scar, smirking slightly like he didn't want to take the picture. But when I showed it to Nate during lunch, Jacob's name was gone. Same photo. Different name underneath, Ryan Wheeler. Same face, same jacket, different identity. What am I looking at? Nate asked. You said you didn't remember him, right? But that's him. Dude, I have no idea who that is. I wasn't the only one. I asked around. No one remembered Jacob. Not his chemistry teacher. Not the lunch lady. Not even the attendance office where I asked, awkwardly, if he had ever been registered. They said no student by that name had ever attended Westridge High. But I remembered Jacob Wills clear as day. And apparently, so did someone else. When I opened my locker later that day, there was a note inside, folded 3 times. Written in all caps. You heard it too. Meet me at the basement stairs after school. Come alone. The girl in the hallway. I didn't know what I expected, a joke, a trap. But after 7th period, I slipped past the cafeteria and went to the basement stairwell near the boiler room, where kids aren't really allowed unless they're in theater crew. Someone was already there, a girl. Black hoodie, faded backpack covered in safety pins. I recognized her vaguely, Hazel something, junior, quiet. You heard Jacob's name, right? She asked without looking up. Yes. I thought I was losing my mind. I said his name to my lab partner earlier and she looked at me like I was crazy. He was real. He sat behind me in English last week. I stepped closer. Do you know what happened to him? She looked up. Her eyes were bloodshot, not from drugs, from crying. I don't know what happened to him. I just know no one remembers, like something erased him. She handed me a folded slip of paper, a screenshot printed from her phone. It was a text thread with Jacob W. They talked about skipping class, movies, life stuff. But her last message, "Are you okay?" was never read. The icon showed it hadn't delivered. His number stopped working this morning, she said. That's when I knew something was wrong. We checked Jacob's locker. I remembered the number, 318, 2nd floor, near the water fountains. It was empty. No books, no name label, just dust. And something scratched into the metal on the inside wall. Do not forget me. Hazel ran her fingers over the letters. Who would do this? She whispered. I didn't have an answer, but something told me this wasn't a person, this was something else. That night, Hazel sent me a voice memo. Her friend's brother worked in the main office and had access to audio logs of the morning announcements. Everything is recorded for legal reasons. She'd asked him to send the clip from that morning. I listened to it. At first it was the same. We regret to inform you that senior student Jacob Wills passed away. But halfway through the recording glitched, like a corrupt audio file. The voice warped, stretched, repeated Jacob's name over and over, slower each time. Then it stopped, dead silent. Then after 6 seconds of static, came a whisper. He knew too much. Then, erase, and the file ended. I didn't sleep much, and when I did, I dreamed of Jacob. In the dream, he was in the hallway, pounding on his locker, screaming, I'm still here, I'm still here. But the hallway was empty. Everyone walked past him. No one turned their head. When I woke up, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Do not dig deeper, you will be next. And then, forget him. 8, we went back. Hazel and I agreed to meet the next day and go through the announcements archive in the AV room. Her friend left it unlocked for us. We dug through hundreds of files on an old external hard drive, each labeled by date. We found Jacob's name mentioned 3 other times in the past year. His birthday, a track team victory, an honor roll mention. But those files were all corrupted. Only his name was distorted, like something was actively censoring it. Then, behind one mislabeled folder, we found a single video file. Final recording 3-8. We opened it. It was grainy security footage. Jacob standing in front of the 2nd floor lockers, writing something with a marker. Then he stopped, froze, turned to the camera. His mouth moved, slowly, repeatedly. We zoomed in. He was saying, they're erasing me. Then the video went black. 9. The end? After that, we were both watched. We got called to the office randomly for behavior checks. Teachers asked if we were okay. Our emails reset themselves. Our lockers were searched for no reason. We stopped talking at school. Only met in secret. But one day, Hazel didn't show up. I texted her. No response. I checked her seat in history class. A different kid sat there now. "Where's Hazel?" I asked the teacher. "Who?" I ran to the library, pulled the yearbook again. Her photo was gone. Her name replaced. I opened our messages. The thread had vanished. 10 a.m. next. Now it's just me. And I know what's coming. This morning, the announcements glitched again. The intercom crackled. Then I heard it. Senior student Caleb Moore was found deceased late last night. That's my name. That's me. Everyone looked around, confused. Nate turned to me. "That's weird. Who's Caleb Moore?" My blood ran cold. "I'm Caleb Moore, but no one remembers. I'm already being erased. If you're reading this, maybe you're next. Maybe you already forgot someone too. Maybe this school, your school, feeds on memory. Listen closely to your announcements. And if they ever say your name, run!"